I'd like to call the 168th Annual Meeting of Georgia Historical Society to order. I'd like to welcome everybody here today, and I'd like to just call attention to the fact that we have with us three past chairmen of the Board of Georgia Historical. In the past year, we did suffer the loss of two of our ex-presidents, but today we have with us Kay Hightower and Grace Phillips and Howard Morrison. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Once again, it shows the great attraction that Georgia Historical Society has for we of us who get so involved with Georgia history and the Georgia Historical Society. I'd now like to call on Chairman Bill Jones of the Nominating Committee to make a report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Nominating Committee, I'm pleased to submit the following candidates for election to the Board of Curators of the Georgia Historical Society. For an additional 3-year term, Dr. Paul Presley from Savannah, and for an initial 3-year term, Vince Dooley from Athens, John Helmkin from Savannah, and Dr. Walter Evans from Savannah. All of these nominees have indicated a willingness to serve should they be elected. That concludes our report.
Is there any discussion on these nominees?
I move we accept the nominations.
There's been a motion to accept. Is there a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
They are nominated. Thank you, Dave. I'd now like to call on Dr. Stan Deaton and Dr. Gross to make a presentation of awards.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Stan Deaton. I'm the Vice President of Programs and Scholarship here at the Georgia Historical Society. And it is my pleasure this afternoon, as it has been every year, to present two of our Local History Achievement Awards, our Publication Awards, and one of our Service Awards. And I'd like to begin by presenting the Roger K. Warlick Local History Achievement Awards. Each year, the Warlick Awards recognize outstanding achievement in the field of local history by affiliate chapters of the Georgia Historical Society. We begin with Outstanding Exhibit. This year's winner is Friends of Bullock Hall in Roswell, Georgia, for the Bullock Hall Museum Room. Accepting the award today is Bullock Hall Director Pam Billingsley. Pam, come on up. Congratulations. I do want to remind all of the award winners to stay around after the meeting. We're going to take your picture. Next up, Outstanding Media Project. This year's winner is the Haralson County Historical Society for the 1856 Handbook. Accepting the award is Ron Geigenblatt, President of the Haralson County Historical Society. Congratulations.
I'm not the president. I'm principal editor, and my surname is Geigenblatt. But other than that, it's absolutely perfect.
Thank you. Next, Outstanding Preservation Project. This year's award goes to the Historic Effingham Society for the development of Historic Effingham Society Museum and Living History Site, the Seconder Bridgers House. Accepting the award is Montine Crawford, President of the Historic Effingham Society. Congratulations. Next, Outstanding Programs, the Upson Historical Society and the Thomaston Upson Archives for the Living History Project and Veterans Appreciation Day program. Accepting the award are Walter Brown, Albert Edmondson, and GHS Emeritus President Kay Hightower. Congratulations. We have two. I almost called Kay in here. Emeritus Professor. Next up, the Award for Archival Excellence. This year's winner is the Fayette County Historical Society for the Fayette County Historical Society Photograph Collection. And here to accept the award is Tony Parrott, President of the Fayette County Historical Society. Congratulations, Tony. And finally, in the Warlick Awards, we present the award for Affiliate Chapter of the Year. This year, the award goes to the Thomas County Historical Society for preservation and promotion of Thomas County history and continuing support of local Georgia Historical Society programming. And accepting the award on behalf of the Thomas County Historical Society is Mary Beverly of Thomasville, who is also a member of the Georgia Historical Society's Board of Curators. Next, our publication awards. And this year, as always, I want to thank the committee for all the hard work and the reading that they did. There was another good year for Georgia history, both in the publication of the articles in the Georgia Historical Quarterly and the books that were published. And first up is the William Bacon Stevens Award, given for the best article by a student appearing in the Georgia Historical Quarterly in a 2-year period. This year, the award goes to Daniel Bronstein for his article, La Cubana City, a Cuban cigar manufacturing community near Thomasville, Georgia during the 1890s, which appeared in the fall 2006 issue. Daniel is a graduate student in history at Georgia State University, and I believe he's here today to accept the award. Congratulations. The other publication awards. First, the E. Merton Culture Award. It's presented annually for the best article in the Georgia Historical Quarterly in the previous year. The award is named for Dr. E. Merton Coulter, who edited the Quarterly for 50 years, from 1924 to 1974. This year, the winner is Virginia Steele Wood for her article, The Georgia Navy's Dramatic Victory of April 19th, 1776, of which this is the anniversary, which appeared in the summer 2006 issue. Jenny is the reference specialist in naval and maritime history at the Library of Congress, and she could not be here today, and she was absolutely thrilled with winning this award. She said her mother would have been very proud of her. So we send her our best wishes, and we will send her this award in the mail. Congratulations to Jenny. Next, the Little Halls Award is given for the best book in Georgia County or local history published in the previous year. This year's winner is Gwendolyn Brock Waldorf for her book, The Genesis of Grady County, published by the Grady County Historical Society. Accepting on behalf of Miss Waldorf, who lives in Tallahassee, Florida, and who could not be here, and on behalf of the Grady County Historical Society is once again Mary Beverly of Thomasville. Finally, the publication awards. The Malcolm Bell Jr. and Muriel Barrow Bell Award is given every year for the best book in Georgia history published in the previous year. This year's winner is Dr. Kevin Cruz of Princeton University for his book, White Flight, Atlanta and the Making of Modern Conservatism, published by Princeton University Press. Dr. Cruz had a previous speaking engagement today, could not be here, but we want to congratulate him, and we will, of course, send his award to him. Now the service awards. First up, the History in the Media Award is presented annually to the individual, news agency, or media outlet that demonstrates a commitment to increasing public awareness and understanding of our past. This year, the award goes to WSAV-TV in Savannah. We especially want to recognize WSAV anchor Kim Gusby for all that she has done to make our educational and outreach programs, particularly the Black History Month Essay and Public Speaking Contest, a great success. Here to accept the award is WSAV Education reporter Randy Hempel, who also served as a judge in this year's contest. Congratulations. And now, Dr. Gross will present the Sarah Nichols Pinckney Volunteer of the Year Award and the John McPherson Berry Award for Lifetime Achievement in Georgia History.
Thank you, Stan. I always enjoy giving these awards because these are my favorite ones because they're going to individuals and to people. This thing, there we go. So it's always fun to give these. It's my pleasure to present the 2007 Georgia Historical Society Sarah Nichols Pinckney Volunteer of the Year Award. This award recognizes individuals who have selflessly contributed their time and resources to advance the mission of the Georgia Historical Society to collect, preserve, and share Georgia history. It is named in honor of Sarah Pinckney, one of the Society's most devoted supporters who set the standard for volunteering at GHS several years ago. The winner of this year's award is Dolly Chisholm, and she received the award. We don't typically give this award to someone who is on the board or been on the board. But in this particular case, we made an exception because Dolly has not just been a board member, she has been a number of other things for the Georgia Historical Society. She has been a fundraiser, a legal advisor, chairman of Georgia Days, chairman of the Georgia Historical Society Trust, a member of the Georgia Historical Society's Board of Curators, and a faithful cheerleader. And this is just one small way that we can say thank you to Dolly Chisholm. Dolly, congratulations. She keeps saying she doesn't deserve it, but all of us who know Dolly know that she know that she does deserve that award. And now for the final award that we will present today, and this is the John McPherson Baring Award. It's my pleasure to present this award this afternoon. It's the John McPherson Baring Award, named in memory of the Society's first president. The Baring Award is designed to recognize a lifetime of achievement in the field of history and signal contribution toward the Society's mission to collect, preserve, and share Georgia and American history. This year's recipient is being recognized posthumously for his vision, leadership, and generosity over many years in guiding the growth of history-related organizations around the state. Now, as you can imagine, in my line of work, I have the opportunity to meet many unusual, powerful, accomplished, and fascinating individuals, from political leaders, captains of industry, national television and radio personalities, and scholars of national and international repute. But I must say that of all the people I've met in my 45 years on this earth, this year's Baring Award recipient, Mr. Tom Watson Brown, may be the most unforgettable. I first met Tom right here in this reading room during a meeting of the board of the Georgia Legal History Foundation. Our mutual friend, Bradley Hale, had suggested Tom as a member of the new GHS advisory board that Bradley was creating for us. I was instantly struck by his larger-than-life personality and the fearless way in which he offered his opinions on any subject, but especially on my chosen profession of history. His command of the facts and of historiography always amazed me, and it was only matched by his searing logic and the fiery and dogged determination with which he presented his interpretations and arguments. A brilliant lawyer and scholar, Tom was educated at Princeton, where he studied history and graduated magna cum laude. He blew the top out of the LSAT exam by making a perfect score, and then entered Harvard Law School, where he once again graduated at the head of his class. This remarkable academic achievement reflects the power of Tom's intellect. Had he followed his heart and chosen to become a history professor, there is no doubt in my mind that he would have risen to the top of the profession. In many ways, Tom was a man of another earlier time, and those of you who knew Tom know exactly what I'm talking about. He closely resembled in personality and intellect the two men he admired the most, U.S. Senator and Confederate General and Secretary of State Robert Toombs, and his own great-grandfather and namesake, the renowned and controversial Georgia politician, Tom Watson. While Tom possessed Toombs' sense of humor, his Epicurean tastes and burly frame, he had inherited Watson's scholarly interest and penchant for writing. And he shared both men's gift of oratory, love of argument, and uncompromising devotion to principle. Tom was also a person of great complexity and contradictions. Just about the time you thought you had him pegged, Tom would say or do something that left you doubting whatever conclusions you had drawn about him. The best description I have seen of this side of Tom was captured recently in the words of the resolution honoring his memory passed by the Georgia General Assembly, and I quote, "Only Tom Brown could simultaneously display the Confederate flag at his home maintained a grudge against the Republican Party for its actions at the onset of the Civil War, and received the Martin Luther King Jr. Center's Community Service Award, personally presented by Coretta Scott King herself. Although he practiced law and maintained an abiding love of politics, the greatest passion of Tom's life was history. He read it, talked it, studied it, lectured on it, toured it, and argued about it, and he even wrote some. One of his finest performances, and one which I personally witnessed, was a lecture he gave several years ago at Georgia College of State University on the life of Robert Toombs. Tom was a genuine bibliophile, and his love of the printed word led him to create one of the largest private libraries in the state, which contained over 5,000 volumes just on the Civil War. He also collected model planes and tanks, loved to visit battlefields, and never tired of verbally jousting over General James Longstreet's performance at Gettysburg or the guilt and innocence of Leo Frank. Tom's love of history also led him to serve on the boards of and to financially support many institutions and libraries dedicated to its preservation and study. The Atlanta History Center, Mercer University Press, the Georgia Legal History Foundation, and the Georgia Historical Society all benefited enormously from his largesse. Tom helped to build the capacity of these institutions. They could not fulfill their respective missions to preserve and interpret the history of our state without his devotion, sagacity, and generosity of time and resources. As an example, one of the largest gifts that the Georgia Historical Society has received during our endowment campaign has been a $1 million contribution from the Watson Brown Foundation, which Tom established several years ago. That gift and the Foundation's generosity will be recognized in perpetuity through a name fund, which is inscribed on the plaque above us up here. Now, I regret that we were not able to give this award to Tom during his lifetime. When he died back in January, I lost a friend, and the field of history lost one of its greatest champions. But I am glad that we were able to offer this tribute of our appreciation for his contribution to this institution and to the study of the past. Tom's work and legacy is carried on today by his son, Tad Brown, president of the Watson Brown Foundation, who is with us and who will receive this award for his father. Tad. Well, I told him that it would not be as funny as the eulogy, which, if you went to the funeral, was absolutely hilarious, and I got a copy of that for our collection here. But I did try to express some of my own personal feelings about Tom Watson Brown. And now I'd like to introduce again the chairman of our board of curators, Don Cole, to make some chairman's remarks and to recognize our outgoing board members.
The society goes on, and as we already voted, we have some new curators now on board. And unfortunately, we are losing a few curators who have done tremendous service for our society, for Georgia history. And I would like to honor with applause Joan Levy, who is here, Rick Meyer, who's probably not, Sheffield Hale from Atlanta, and Buddy Sullivan.
Rick is here.
Oh, Rick, I'm sorry. You sneaked in on me. Anyway, I want to thank Rick and Joan for being here and for serving so many years with Georgia Historical Society.
We've got plaques.
You get your plaque first, Rick. I'm pleased to report that this 168th annual meeting of Georgia Historical Society, all is well. Our mission to collect, preserve, and interpret Georgia history has once again enhanced our statewide reputation. 2006-2007 has been an excellent year. We have continued to be fiscally sound with control of revenues and expenses. Our endowment continues to grow with a percentage increase of approximately 10%, and the investment income derived continually contributes to our well-being financially. All of our staff positions are filled with highly qualified people. The atmosphere of an educated, creative, enthusiastic staff permeates the building. Our curators bring a wealth that really, those of us who come in here and use the society, it's marvelous. It's marvelous to be in this building. Our heating and air conditioning system, as you can tell, is working very well. and it's mostly paid for. Many thanks to Courtney Gaines for a major contribution. Our worries about the system breaking down in Savannah's heat and humidity are more or less gone, and that's really a tremendous relief. With all the valuables that we have in this collection, to have anything happen to it would be unforgivable on the part of Georgia Historical Society. The challenge grant issued by Curator Bill Jones has been met, and a newly designed website will soon be in operation. Dr. Gross is widely recognized throughout the state. He has been appointed to the State Tourism Board and the Capital Standards Committee. His advice on numerous historical and academic projects are continually sought. Georgia Day in Savannah, the parade, the great luncheon, celebration with our new curator Vince Dooley, and the evening festivities at the Braswell home were close to perfection. Thousands of school children truly became aware of Georgia history and their heritage. These are but a few of this year's accomplishments. However, there are many challenges still to be met. We compete with many statewide organizations in collecting Georgia history through papers, books, personal histories, artifacts, and so forth. Our resources for this purpose are limited by the funds available. Many great opportunities are lost to us. A continuing major challenge is to increase our endowment to $10 million. The goal was set many years ago, and although we are about 70% of the way there, we still need to get that goal finished and then put another goal up and work on it some more. These monies do all they can to ensure the health of our society. The Historical Marker Program, our lecture series, and the conservation of collections are but a few of the many items that continually must be taken care of and met. Political endeavors at city, county, and state levels take much of our CEO's time and staff's time. Some of this could be alleviated with a proper foundation endowment. Our strategic plan has not progressed. We will need more library space, more archival storage space, more library personnel, more funding, and so forth. Time is not on our side. The longer planning and action are put off, the more costly the projects become, and less prepared we are for the future. The 175th anniversary of this society is fast approaching. We must be ready and prepared for the future by continually collecting, preserving, and interpreting the past for future generations of Georgians. We have the staff, the curators, the will to do it. Let us renew our efforts in 2007-2008.
Don, thank you. I want to tell you, Don has done a terrific job this year. We've been working very hard and very closely together, and we're really fortunate to have Don with us as chairman this year and last year, and looking forward to the work that lies ahead of us. Well, this is the 12th time that I have had the privilege of making this report to you, the members of the Georgia Historical Society, and the 12th time that I've had the pleasure of reporting that our institution is strong and is growing. As Don indicated, financially, it was a particularly good year for the Georgia Historical Society. We ended fiscal year 2006 in the black. The Society's net assets are currently at $8 million, a growth of 8% over this time last year. Our endowment, as Don indicated, is still growing. The fund now stands at approximately $6.7 million, and this figure, coupled with $250,000 in outstanding pledges, brings the total to under $7 million, an increase over last year of nearly 10%. This remarkable growth was due in part, as Don indicated, to a $750,000 challenge grant, the match for which we completed this past year, well before, I might add, the deadline of July 1st, 2007. This grant, which required us to raise $2.25 million in matching contributions, added over $3 million to our endowment. Among those who helped us to reach this goal were the donors who, during the past year, created 5 new endowment funds named for the following people: Tom and Dottie Davis, Bob and Alice Jepson, Rick and Francis Meyer, Ben Tarbutton, and Marguerite Williams. There are now a total of 40 named endowment funds, 28 established, and 12 more pledged and in progress. I want to draw your attention to the plaques around the room that are back here and also along the pilasters, and to the names that are printed in your program. These people have generously given so that the Georgia Historical Society may have a sustainable future. Making a gift to the endowment fund is the most sophisticated and visionary form of giving. Please join me now in thanking them and all of those who have given to the endowment campaign for their far-sighted generosity. But giving cannot be solely for tomorrow. It must also be for today. We must not only build our endowment, but we must continue to support on an annual basis the work of the society. I want to thank all of you for your financial support through your membership dues and annual giving gifts. I particularly want to express my appreciation to the charter members of our new 1839 society, 1839 being the year in which the Georgia Historical Society was founded. This is the highest and most prestigious level of membership in GHS. Members pay annually $5,000 dues, precious resources that make possible all that we do here in Savannah and across the state. Our chairman, Don Cole, took the lead in this important initiative, and he's been joined by 9 others: Jim Blanchard, Ann Boardman, Robert Brown, Jenny Lynn Bradley, Archie Davis, Kay Hightower, Bill Jones III, Howard Morrison, and Grayson Phillips. And we have achieved, you know what, I had down here, we were only 1 away, but you know what, we got that 1 during the board meeting today. So we have reached the goal of the 10 charter members that we had set for this year. The Society's financial good health was reflected in its programmatic accomplishments. We launched an ambitious $500,000 technology upgrade project, which includes the design of a new content-rich website and the creation of a new online public access catalog, or an OPAC as we call it around here. When this multi-year project is completed, it will give the world access to our vast collections of documents, books, artifacts, records, as well as to our historical markers, teacher curricula, and lectures and programs. For example, at this time last year, only 37% of our manuscript collection, which represents about 4 million documents, were cataloged and available on this OPAC. Today, that figure has grown to 51%, and it is increasing daily. As a consequence, we are already experiencing an increase in usage by researchers around the world. A federal challenge grant from the Institute for Museums and Library Services has covered $150,000 of this project, and our Board of Curators, inspired by a challenge from Bill Jones III, has committed an additional $85,000 to make this project a reality. I hope you've received this in the mail by now. We launched a new history magazine, Georgia History Today, which will complement our scholarly journal, the Georgia Historical Quarterly, by examining the ongoing presence of the past. We stepped up efforts to collect documents and artifacts around the state, adding dozens of new materials, ranging from a massive photographic collection taken by a U.S. Army photographer stationed in Southeast Asia during World War II, to a rare and unpublished image of Confederate General Moxley Sorrell, to documents from the 1830s related to the famous U.S. Supreme Court case, Worcester versus Georgia, and the removal of the Cherokee and Creek Indians from West and North Georgia. All of these new acquisitions offer us a window on our state and nation's past, and several of them are on display today in the case on the left as you exit the building, so I would encourage you to stop and take a look at them when the archivist will be back there to explain them. These new treasures and the millions of other documents and tens of thousands of photographs and books in our collection, as Don indicated, will now be better preserved and will be available for future generations to study and to learn from, because we replaced our old and decrepit HVAC with a new and more powerful system. This project required us to raise $112,000 from the Savannah community. And by the way, Don left out, we are still $20,000 short if anyone would like to help us reach the goal. We continue to serve as a resource for state government by assisting in the planning for the upcoming sesquicentennial commemoration of the Civil War, by serving on the Georgia Department of Economic Development's Tourism Foundation and on the newly created Capital Arts Standards Commission. We laid plans to establish a new African American archives that will eventually elevate GHS into a national repository for the history of African American people. All this was in addition to the 4 issues of the Georgia Historical Quarterly we edited, the 12 new historical markers we approved and installed, the 6 scholarly lectures and the annual meeting with keynoter Bob Schieffer that we planned and implemented in Savannah, the Profiles in Leadership Roundtable and Discussion in Atlanta, the dozens of lectures and public programs the staff presented around the state to affiliate chapters and civic organizations, the thousands of researchers worldwide who we serve through our library and archives, the 2-week Georgia Days educational program. And this is something that you don't hear much about because they're not open to the public. The 9-teacher, federally funded training sessions that we planned and executed with our partners over at Massey Heritage Center. The nearly 200 statewide affiliate chapters that we serve. Not to mention the Georgia Birthday Bash. Are you getting tired? The membership recruitment parties in Atlanta and Thomasville, the host committee receptions, the corporate fundraising campaign, that are all part of the ongoing activities, services, and programming we offer to the people of Georgia and beyond. In the midst of this flurry of activity, we were saddened by the loss of past board chairman Bill Guevara and Laurie Abbott, and a long-serving member of our advisory board, Tom Watson-Brown. While we mourn the loss of these great leaders and dear friends, we celebrate their many accomplishments and contributions that have brought GHS to the level of the success and prestige we enjoy today. The torch that they have passed is now carried by a remarkable group of people. Chairman Don Cole and the GHS Board of Curators have committed time, talents, and resources to making GHS a success, and we're extremely fortunate to have their enthusiastic involvement. We have one of the finest boards in the state, and I want to recognize the hardworking and dedicated staff of the Georgia Historical Society. I have never in my 17-year career worked with such an outstanding group of professionals. I continue to be amazed at their quest for excellence and the tremendous volume of what they accomplish with such limited resources. I especially want to commend the senior management team, Executive Vice President Laura Garcia-Culler, Vice President for Programs and Scholarship, Dr. Stan Deaton, and Library and Archives Division Director Miller Galler for their dedication and leadership. In the days ahead, we need to continually discover new ways to fulfill our mission to collect, preserve, and share Georgia history and of the nation. Traditionally, we have served Georgians on a statewide level through the pages of our Georgia Historical Quarterly, meetings in many historic towns that dot our state, and by collecting and making accessible material from all over Georgia. But some of the traditional ways we have gone about serving the public are now rendered obsolete by technology. While we remain committed to publishing the best in Georgia history in the pages of the GHQ and now our new GHT, increasingly we will turn to new avenues to get GHS out around the state, such as our partnership with Georgia Public Radio, and the web-based New Georgia Encyclopedia and Digital Library of Georgia, and of course our own soon-to-be-launched website and its accompanying online public access catalog. Indeed, technology is making it possible for us to be more statewide than ever, and we have made a conscious effort to reprioritize resources so that this important endeavor may be completed in the next year or two. Once our website is launched, and as our programs continue to be broadcast into every community of Georgia, we will have a presence that we never had before. We are no longer restricted to physically being in one place at a time. Technology allows us to reach an even wider audience. Programs held in one place can be broadcast and web streamed to all places. And doing so is ultimately more cost-effective than traditional, labor-intensive methods of trying to hold programs in every corner of the state. As we discover these new avenues for serving the public, it is crucial that we create a sustainable future for GHS. Not only do we need to complete the many tasks we have begun, our technology upgrade and our endowment campaign, but we must continue to diversify and discover reliable sources of funding for such essential and popular programs as the historical markers in our lecture series. And as we approach our 175th anniversary, we must not be satisfied with simply being a leader among Georgia's historical organizations. For decades now, the quest has been to create a truly statewide society. We are at last achieving that goal. Soon we will be ready to scale even more lofty heights, to dream even bolder dreams. GHS should and must be a leader on a national level. We need to propel this institution into the forefront of national historical organizations by making it not only the place to study Georgia history, but also American history. Georgia is a part of America, and we want to create an environment, a collection, and programming where that can be studied as well. While we are thinking about how we will lead in Georgia, let us keep in mind that becoming a nationally recognized institution with nationally recognized collections and programming should be the ultimate goal. But we will only achieve this if we resolve to do it together. GHS belongs to you, the members. Your organization will only be as good as you want it to be. So I challenge each of you to step up to the plate. Let us seize this moment and commit ourselves to transforming this venerable institution. You have my pledge that the staff and I will do our part, but we cannot do it without you, without your guidance, your dedication, and of course your financial support. If you make history, its collection, preservation, and teaching, a priority by establishing an endowment fund, or making a larger annual giving gift, or increasing your membership, then I have no doubt that we can do this. Because if the history of the Georgia Historical Society is any indication of the future, I know that upon the cornerstone of your generosity, we will continue to build an institution that is second to none. Thank you for all that you do. It has been a great year, and thank you for giving me the privilege of serving you. Thank you.
We have these plaques for these outgoing board members too. You want to present those?
We have the plaques for the outgoing board members.
Rick, would you come up here first, since I slided you so bad? Is there any old business that come before this annual meeting? Any new business? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn the 168th annual meeting. So moved. Second? Second? Second. All right, come on, Steve. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you all later tonight. 7 o'clock.